everyone to know that I'm going live against my will. I can't read that. I really can't see. Is it Leanne? But yeah, evil people have rights too, you know. They have so much more rights in this world. It's crazy. Excuse me. I don't know if anybody's coming in. I don't care really anymore. What does it look like? Let me just see what that looks like. That's too dark. That might work. Yeah, man, I'm sick of people. I'm sick of these people. Man, look, I'm a person of my word. You know what I mean? If I tell you something, I'm going to do something. Let me tell y'all what happened Friday at work. Mike Smith. Yeah. Now, look, I don't know if y'all remember, but over a year ago, before I ever started working for this company, this guy that lives I've known, since 2012, I remember every years that is. I went down to his house. It's like a mile down the road. I needed to borrow come along because I was fixing to haul my Jeep to the scrapper. Well, he sat there and said, hey, nowadays, it might be hard for me to do it and this, that, and the other. He does it all the time. He'd give me X amount for the car. And I was like, well, I got two brand new tires, don't even have 50 miles on it. I need to get them back. I said, it's even got a brand new radiator I just put in it. That damn thing will crow every 10 seconds. Somebody time it. I get to talking, this thing thinks he's got to out talk me. But anyhow, when I drove it down there to the house, I went to pull my battery out, and he's like, oh, no, I'm like, dude, that don't come with this. The tires don't come with it, and the battery don't come with it. And he was like, well, I needed to move it around because it still ran. The motor's just knocking real bad, right? He said, I just needed to move it around. I'll bring it to you Wednesday, the two tires and the battery. I'm like, all right. Well, Wednesday come around, another Wednesday come around, and then I saw him. He's on a Thursday. I swear. Hang on. I got to pull 7's fault. I know I don't have meditation bells, but I got an empty 7-gallon propane tank right there. Oh, that son of a gun. Oh, I'm sick of that thing. Corn Pop is a bad dude. Oh, we got Bubba News, Bug Eye Jim, Mike Smith. How y'all doing? But anyhow, where was I at? I can't even remember. Oh, yeah. Over a year has gone by, right? So Thursday. It wouldn't be so bad if he wasn't aiming right at the truck. Y'all, don't ever get roosters. Don't ever get roosters. They attack you all the time. They chase your dogs around. You know how hard it was for me to teach Ouija not to kill it? So Ouija's got to fight with it, but not kill it. I mean, the thing attacks Ouija. It attacks me. And I can't shut it up. I can't run it off. This mother, I thought I had enough of this one. Hey, get up there. Get up there. I hate to do it, but it's come to it. How did I miss from that close? That was seen, folks. All of it was fake. No, I mean, I threw firecrackers at that chicken trying to run them off. But I'm sick of it. That chicken is just as evil as people, or worse. Worse. You know how I kept that chicken away from me? I stopped feeding them. That dirt wouldn't get around me. I don't know. West Texas, what's going on? I can't see anymore. But yeah. But anyhow, where was I going with that? Anyhow, I go to work Thursday morning, right? And this dude, he's always getting extra work for me around there, you know. He's always cutting exhaust off stuff. Well, there's some exhaust laying in front of the body shop door, right? And he's like, yeah, I got some welding for you. And I'm like, God, there's a damn madhouse around here. I'm going crazy. I'm fixing to get a funnel and just pour 5 gallons worth of moonshine down me and call it done. I ain't lying. I'm sick of this. I'm under attack by carpenter bees. We just trying to chase the carpenter bees, which excite the rooster, which brings the rooster down here to attack Ouija. Oh God! I finally got the rooster run off, and then the car. You see how this AI simulation that we live in works? It's like a damn video game, man. It's pure evil. This whole world is based off evil. I was sitting there thinking about that earlier, man. I was like, I don't know, man. I've asked some questions. I'm like, who has more hate? Does the devil have more hate for good, or does God have more hate for bad? See? So, or is it like, is the creator actually bipolar? You got your good side and you got your bad side. You got to have both sides in order to know the difference. That's what I was told. You got to have the good to know the bad, or you got to have the bad to know the good. No. As long as I stand here and that rooster sees me, he'll stay back. No. what it is, you got a choice between good and evil. And I think what happens if you try to live good and truthful in this world, you will go to a place that erases from any memory you ever had of what evil is. And then you'll never know what evil is. There's no rules, there's no need for rules. You see what I'm saying? Love thy neighbor as thyself. Man, what kind of world would that be? You know what I'm saying? And the other reward when you part this world is a return trip. You better start figuring out. Because I think, and this is the last day. There ain't no more. There's no more resets in this game, people. This is it. This is your final life in this game of Earth. That's what God named it, right? Earth, right? And one day I was thinking, hell, is the next game Venus? And then the game after that, Mercury? And then you make it home to the sun, or is the sun the bonus round? I've always told people the sun is the backside of a black hole. On the other side of it is black. So that universe sees our backside of the sun as a black hole. Boom. It's any way you want to imagine it because there's nothing new under the sun, right? There can't be nothing new under the sun because that's what projects all this bullshit we're living in. It's a tunnel, it's a scroll. We are inside of a scroll looking out the end at that bright thing they call the sun. And when it unscrolls and you see the reality of the dimension everything exists in, you'll realize this ain't the real. This ain't real. We're going to a spiritual dimension, y'all. And you're either gonna go to a good one or a bad one, and be stuck there forever. Because this is it. No more resets. This is game over, and you better got the high score. And that all that means is love thy neighbor as thyself. That's all you gotta do. If everybody treated everybody with love and kindness and understanding, and there wouldn't be a problem. Oh, but you sound like a liberal now. No, I'm not being a liberal. If you truly, in your heart, did that, there would be no evil. It's just crazy, man. But anyhow, I know I was talking about work. Well, anyhow, I was like, look, dude, I go, this ain't from up here. He goes, yeah, it's somebody I'm doing work for. And then he slipped up and told me who it was for. I was like, hang on, that dude owes me $300. I go, them tires are worth 200, battery 75, and he owed me another 25 cash. That's a total of $300. Now this is over a year later, right? And I'm like, look, I said, I ain't welding it. And then he walked off, and I walked off, and I left it laying there. It was two catalytic converters with 402 sensors, two pre ones and two rear ones, and they cut it in half, and it had to be welded to a wide point. And evidently, I'm the only guy that can weld. So I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. And then the next thing I know, that exhaust got misplaced somewhere, right? And dude come over and he's like, hey, where's that exhaust at? And I'm like, I don't know, it must have got misplaced. I go, but I know somebody that could probably find it for you for $300. Me. Was that Jay Ferris? I cannot see. Suspicious skies. What's going on? Oh man, these skies, Nurse Care Bear. These skies up above me today. All right, y'all. Look, I've got 128 gigabytes memory card in this one, right? These clouds yesterday, what I was able to put on my community post, the only way I got those was I had to have the camera on and I was screenshotting because it told me I didn't have any memory left. And I've only used 2.2 GBs of their gum, of the 128 gigabytes. Come on. That's what I'm saying. This AI is tied in with all of it. The AI is the physical part of this crap that's up in the skies, man. This is all demonic shit. Well, maybe not all of it, but I'm pretty sure all of it is because from what I've read and been taught, even the devil can look like an angel of light. Man, who has not heard that? And I didn't get on here to preach, but man, I'm about truth. I stand on the rock of truth, and I do it. So I told that guy, I go, look, I don't know where the exhaust is unless I get $300 and I put my right hand out and I touched the palm of my hand. I go, unless I get $300 in my hand, nobody's going to see that exhaust. And then he's like, man, I go, I ain't kidding. So he walked back over to the shop. And I'm in the body shop, right? Who's that? Rebecca? How you doing? So I went to try to get back to work, and then I thought, you know what? He was depending on making that money finishing that job, and he was going to finish it on Saturday, right? So I'm like, so I walked over there, and I go, hey, look, I was thinking about it, and I go, how much are you owed on that job? And he said $100. I go, I tell you what, tomorrow I'll give you $100. That way you and your family are not going to do without any money, and you ain't got to worry about anything money-wise. And when I get my $300, he'll get his exhaust. And he was like, okay, this is a good time to do that. Because his wife's really mad. It says his wife's truck or Jeep that he's working on, right? And he's like, this be a good time to get him. She's already on his butt. I'm like, well, he's going to have to, if he wants her truck running by Saturday, I'm going to have to get $300. And if you want me to weld it, it's going to cost another $100. That's just how it was. But I was going to pay him $100 for the job that he was going to complete. Oh, here we go again. This is getting crazy. And look, just live in the city, people. The city, look, I'd rather have drive-bys, which is probably fixing to happen here. I ain't got to the end of this story yet. Come on, guys, be cool. God. Okay, I forgot where I was at. I think I saw Bang Bang up in here, maybe. I don't know who that is. I don't know why they have blue. Who is Bang Bang Screw Tube? Sounds like they're trying to copy me. No, I'm joking. Bang Bang. But anyhow, where was I? Oh, yeah. So I was like, everything, that way you're covered. And he was cool with it, man. He was cool. He's like, yeah, you can get them good now. And he still owes that guy like $125 for a training job he did. And hang on, I need to provide some shade for this camera. That sun is coming through. The sun is behind me, believe it or not. Did that get weird? But anyhow, where was I at? Oh, he was still cool with it. So anyhow, Friday morning comes around. I'm going through his babe for, hang on. Yeah. I was 6 o'clock in. And I said, you still cool with that? He said, yeah. I'm like, all right. So, I don't know. The owner went to lunch. That's when everybody decided to do what they're going to do, right? So, the owner's at lunch now. The guy that I told I was going to give $100 to is at lunch, and he's sitting in the parking lot, with his wife in the van. In front of the bay doors to the mechanic shop there. And what was it, man? Oh, I was gonna walk up there because it was like I can't remember 12 something. It was lunchtime. It was like 12:15. I don't know. It was lunchtime area. And I go to walk up to see because this guy Eddie. Instead of me having to drive my truck at lunch, I just ride with him and I give him X amount of money per week for gas. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, look, I ride with you wherever you want to go eat. If he's going somewhere I don't want to eat, then I'll drive to where I want to eat. But I still give him X amount of money at the end of the week, right? And if I remember, so you know how weeks and stuff just get all. But anyhow, I tried to shave. But anyhow, where was I? When I got up beside the van, because I always talked to him and his wife, because his wife worked at like Dollar General for years, so I knew her a long time before I knew her husband. And anyhow, he was sitting there, hey John, come here. And he was holding like, I don't know, $40, maybe 50. I couldn't tell. It might have been 30. I don't know. I saw a 20 and a 10. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And he goes, will this cover welding that? I go, no, I'm not welding it until I see $300. He goes, well, I need that exhaust. I'm like, dude, did we not come to agreement and you were cool with it? I asked you yesterday and this morning. And now all of a sudden you're telling me you need that exhaust? I said, you ain't getting it. We made a deal. And then he acted like he's going to climb out of the van. I'm like, dude, I'm still on the clock. I go, let me go in here and clock out real quick. So I walked into the back hall, and I sat there, and the boss I go, where's, the boss? He's the owner. And he's like, he's still at lunch. I go, well, look, I'm putting so-and-so on, how'd I say it? How'd I say that again? On attention? Yeah, I'm putting so-and-so on attention. I said, if that joker so much as touches me, I'm going to put him in the hospital. He's like, what's going on? I go, he's reneging on his word with me. And he's trying to cause problems. And I'm not doing anything, but I'm going to defend myself. So I didn't clock out. But I had my time card in my hand. I walked out that back door and I looked at him with that time card in my hand. And I said, look, I just put the whole company on notice. And I walked back in my shop and I was trying to get back to work on that Spectrum van I'm working on. Next thing I know, in comes another mechanic. He goes, this is how it's going to be. You're giving so-and-so back that exhaust. I go, oh, no, I'm not. He goes, there's no other way but you're giving it to him or else. I go, or else what? Or else I'm going to make you. I go, you ain't making me. Cops ain't going to make me. Threatening to fire me ain't. Oh, yeah, that's another thing that mother said in the van. He goes, I'll have your job. I go, I don't care. I said, I've been planning on quitting for the last 2 months. I don't care. You can't threaten me with anything when I'm standing on the ground of truth. I'm standing on a man's word, my word. And he's going to go back on it and say he needs that exhaust. And then he's going to mechanic in there. And I sat there and I told that guy, I go, look, before anything gets going here, you ain't got no part in this. He goes, I'm inserting myself into it. I go, I said, this does not pertain to you, So I wound up having to walk out of my own shop and try to see if the owner's back yet. Because I'm like, look, I'm getting harassed by a mechanic. I got another mechanic that's sitting there. Oh, yeah. When I went back in there to see if the owner was back, the guy that wanted the exhaust back looked at me. I had to walk through his bay to get to the back office. He said, are you going to give me that? Or he said, you are giving me that exhaust back, or I'm going to call someone to come up here with a gun and shoot you. I looked at him and said, make that call. And I walked past him. He made that call. John was in there. I go, John, I didn't start any of this, but Randall's on the phone with a dude that's fixed to bring a gun up here and shoot me. And John was like, just give him the exhaust back. Ooh, I shouldn't have said his name, but that's the owner. And I looked at him and I put my right hand out, palm up. I said, and I started tapping in it. I said, no one will see that exhaust until there's $300 in this hand. And I walked out and went back over to my shop. And he come over there. He goes, you got to give him the exhaust back. Because he got to worrying about his company then. Gator Sky, what's going on? If I miss anybody, I'm sorry. I'll try to catch back up. But my memory's bad anymore, y'all. Bad. So here I am with the owner of the company. And I just point blank looked at him and told him, look, you can fire me. You can tell me to quit. I can pack my tools up. I said, you can call the law. You can have me arrested. You can have me put in jail. You can shoot me. You can kill me. But nobody's getting that damn, and I was cussing by this time, exhaust until I have $300 in this hand right here. So he turned around and walked out. I kept on working on the van. I'm trying to work on because I'm hired to work. You know what I mean? And I'm having to deal with all this shit and I'm trying to work. So then he comes back in the shop a few minutes later. He goes, here's $300. And he put it in that hand. He goes, now I need the exhaust. I said, you'll get it. And then I walked into the other part, which is the storage area for all his old restored cars and stuff. And I know how to dodge cameras, so nobody will ever find my hiding spot in that place unless they have to vacate the building. But anyhow, I opened up those double doors on that thing and I went there and I got one exhaust pick because it's two pieces. I sat there and chunked them out the door, went and got the other one. Know how to dodge the cameras. Went and get back in view where it doesn't matter if the cameras. See, you see what I'm saying? Chunk that one out the door, and then I shut the double doors and go back working on the van. By this time, it's after 1. I'm like, and the other mechanic that I usually ride with, I didn't see him around or anything. I'm like, man, he'd probably freaked out. He's gone. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to finish up, excuse my language, but I'm going to finish up what I'm doing here, and I'm fixing to clock out. I had my truck already pulled in. Oh, that's what that mechanic said. He said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take something of yours. I go, what? You're going to take some of my, why? He goes, so you know how it feels. I'm all right. Take something. What are you going to take? He goes, I'm not going to tell you. I go, all right. So when I call the law and have you arrested for stealing something of mine, don't forget you're on probation. And he goes, you MFer. I go, yeah. But the guy I usually ride with come over a little later and he's like, you ready to go to lunch? I'm like, damn, I thought you already went. Yeah, we went and got our lunch, come back and ate. I clocked back in. I finished working on the van. About 3 o'clock, I was like, you know what? It's been a hell of a day. My truck ain't run right. If y'all saw the little short I made, man, I just spent $160 something on plugs and plug wires and 2 sensors. The plugs were $11.70. They're platinum plus. They're these things right here. What is it? Double platinum. That's stuff backwards. Spark plugs. Oh, okay, that's what it's. Yeah, $11.70 something a piece. If you don't believe me. And look, that's why I'm needing that dadgum money, right? But this is the problem. All right. When was it? It was after lunch and everything. I saw the boss out in the parking lot, and I went up to him, and I had the $300 in my hand, and I go, here. I go, it ain't your place to pay for it. And he's like, no, I'll keep it. I go, no, look. He goes, look, the mechanic made a deal with the guy that owed me money that guy would pay the owner the $300. I go, well, you're never going to see it. And he's like, well, we'll see. I go, but look, you don't owe me this $300. He goes, well, just hold on to it for a few months. I can do that. But you know what? It's like I ain't got it. So why do I even need to physically hold on to it? So I didn't go to work today because I got to work on this truck. But when I go to work tomorrow, I'm going to give him back his $300. And I'm going to let him know I can't work there if that guy's still there because he threatened my life. And I need to go to the police department and file an incident report on Friday. And if need be, you know, I'll file that order of protection against him because that shit carried over to Saturday down here. You know, I went to Leah. His wife tried to chase me in the van. Yeah. I went by where he was working on because I was going to Lexington. And it's a straight shot from my house to Lexington. I go right past where the dude owed me the $300. Well, that's where the mechanic was doing the side work in that dude's yard. And his wife was in the van. And when I went by, I didn't even look their direction, right? I kept my head straight. You know, I cocked my eyes, but you can't see through my tinted windows and shit. I mean, look. Them things are kind of dark. I mean, they're pretty dark. But anyhow, and this thing was missing and spurting and so I gunned it. I want to look for any trouble. And this thing limped its way ahead of that van, whatever it was. But anyhow, you know, I need to file a report because that was a whole different county in the county I live on. Now I have stuff in the county. The guy that owed me the $300 for over a year, before he owed me anything, he'd blow the horn when he'd go by, right? He ain't blown the horn any until today. Yeah, he saw me in the driveway. Well, it's hard to see me in the driveway unless you're really looking hard because I'm set up where you can't see down in here. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, I need to at least file an incident report. And then, you know, if I went to the labor board and said, hey, look, I work in a hostile work environment, you know, it ain't my fault. I'm fixing to have to quit. Right? Right? I mean, I'm looking at all the legal steps. Or, and this is the best one of all, I can forget everything ever happened. If I can just get somebody to form up some waivers stating the owner of that company, the property in which that company exists and everything is not responsible for what happens to John Boy or the mechanic. Because there's a little fenced in area in the back. This is a big privacy wood fence, like 8 foot tall. I want to have a last man standing match back there. Yep. I want that MFer to sat there and told me he was going to call somebody to bring a gun to work and shoot me to stand toe to toe with me. And you know what? I'll even give him a chance. I'll let him have a gun in his hand. All right? And this is how this is going to work. I'm going to start. We're going to start. I'm going to have somebody ring a bell, whistle, do something, right? But that's going to, and we're going to be 4 foot apart, face to face. I'm going to let him already have a gun in his hand down to the side. He's got to be holding it down at his knee. When whatever it is sounds off, it's on time. That motherfucker better throw that thing over the fence, or he's fixed to get pistol whipped by it, and he's fixed to suck on the fucking barrel. You know what I mean? I guarantee I'll be the last man standing. And I thought this, if the daggum second mechanic who wanted to chime in wants to be part of it, I ain't looking for a tag team. I want y'all to double team my ass. You know what I mean? Double team. I want both of you at the same time. Yeah, because you know what? When you stand on the ground of truth, every bit of power there is in the universe is on your side. And you'll come out on top. Never give your ground when you're standing on the ground of truth. I live by that oath. I would rather do that and beat that boy into a man. He might have to spend a little weeks at the hospital. I'm not gonna end his life. I'm just gonna teach him a life lesson. There ain't nothing worse than a man that everybody's got to go and clean up behind. Or if you need a tool that is like a battery charger or the jumper box, you got to figure out where that MFer left it last. If he borrows a tool, it will come back looking like it was used in a grease pit. Ridiculous. But I think I'll do the legal way, even though the last way, the third option, man, that sounds, I ain't done nothing like that in a long time. I mean, one time in Memphis, I sent a guy back to, Chicago. Chicago. Yeah, that MFer, he didn't stick around. I shoved that guy in through the driver's side of his car so bad, I wound up taking him out through the passenger side with people hollering, "Johnny, stop, Johnny, stop." That joker didn't even go by his hotel to pick up his shit. He just went straight to Chicago, man. He's like, fuck these motherfuckers down here in Memphis. Yeah. But anyhow, I'm just at that point. I like my job and I like the boss and the company is cool, but I can't be working with people that do me like that. I cannot sit here and allow a man to tell me that if I don't do something, he's going to have someone get a gun, bring it to work, and shoot me. And what makes it so bad, this same guy that said that to me, it's been about 3 weeks ago. Me and this guy were sitting there, the mechanic I ride to lunch with, we're sitting there talking. I don't know, it might have been something about the infamous Joe Biden or something to do with maybe Bud Light. Who knows? But that mechanic come walking up. He goes, just makes you mad enough you want to go on a shooting spree. And me and that mechanic jumped back. We're like, what? And the other mechanic, he was like, well, I almost said his name. And I was like, what's wrong with you, dude? I mean, it ain't that serious. So that happened 3 weeks ago. And then he threatened to have me shot Friday. That guy, he's a candidate for that red flag law. That's what the red flag law is for, somebody like that. You know what I mean? And the only way to, look, I'm going to have to file an incident report. There ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt. Let the good times roll. Man, I need to work on my truck, but I need to drive somewhere, but I don't need to get it hot because it just got it cooled down. I needed to go get some Yuengling beer so I could sit there and marinate. I bought it. What did I get? I got some sort of steak. I don't know what it was. What was that thing? I think it's a chuck steak. It's kind of like a roast, but it's, thin like a steak. Well, where's my fingers at? But anyhow, I was going to marinate it in some Yuengling. That Yuengling's some good, man, that's some good cooking beer. I'll take a little sip or whatever. I ain't drank a whole bottle of beer in I don't know how long. I always cook with it, but I've been out for a few months. Now I got some rosemary growing. What all have I missed in the chat? Probably a lot of stuff. Man, I can't see anymore. I really can't read. I can see a squirrel way through the woods, but I just can't see writing on paper or anything. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. I don't know, man. I don't. Yeah, I don't know, guys. But that People's Last Stand. How'd you like that picture I sent? I'm telling y'all, man, these clouds. Look on my community page, man. If you look at those pictures, they change. You'll see one face is several faces, just depending on how close you are to it or how far away you are. Those pictures are dimensional. They change. They change before your very eyes. You'll see stuff you didn't see. It's just hard to look. When I'm editing, I can go one way and capture something real clear, or I can go the other way and capture something different real clear. But when I get that in between, I'm capturing the left and the right and what's in between. And you just got to look at it for a minute. No, I don't use no. No, Mike, I haven't. Well, look, this is my problem. They've made it phone don't have enough memory, or my camera on my phone doesn't have enough memory to record or take a video, right? Won't even take a snapshot. In clouds yesterday, I could see those spaces that this on my community page. I posted yesterday, but the only way I could get them was for some reason when your camera memory shut off, you can still screenshot, right? There's a separate memory or something. So I was like, all right, I got the camera on and I just started screenshotting. I would zoom in and I would screenshot it. Then I had to go back and edit out all the buttons, how it shows the push shutter button and all that stuff. That's how come you'd see there's a little like a weird looking spotlight thing. Because I either got a wide angle or a narrow angle lens, and that's the indicator thing. And I couldn't get that off when a screenshot is always there. It's not there in a picture if you take a picture, but it's always there. But yeah, that stuff, look, the first one I posted looked like in the center is a darker face, and it kind of looked like Satan from, Twilight Zone, the old ones. But I got a series of pictures of that over like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. I don't know how long I was out there, but there's a bunch of other different clouds doing stuff too. But I got a series of that face one before it came over, and then after it come over, it was right over me and going past me. And, I don't know, man. I keep trying to, man, I got some video. I can't edit anything. I ain't got any memory for my KineMaster, so I need to go ahead and just upload it straight up, and y'all see what I'm talking about. When I tell y'all, watch how all these lines go to a point and there'll be rings out like that. This is some daggone like ritualistic stuff they're doing in the skies. Micro, macro. Y'all got to understand. They can do this stuff on a small scale in a laboratory, and they can do it on a large scale in this world. You see what I'm saying? And the overall everything is much bigger than anything anybody can ever imagine. I mean, think about it. Look at it like this. And I'm just going to look at it like science says it. Man has been trying to look as far as they can out into the universe. All right. And however far it is that they've gotten and looked and everything, in the reality of everything, this reality we know, as far as it goes, is nothing but a speck of dust in another reality. I mean, come on, micro, macro, it never ends. That's how you have eternity. There's no way for eternity. I mean, no way for an end. If you have never ending possibilities, one individual, look, it's on cellular levels. We've got hundreds of trillions of different worlds inside of us. We are a neutron somewhere. But yet, we see neutrons here. And on those neutrons we see here is another universe like this that we exist in now. I mean, it's alternate every which way. I mean, until you figure out good and evil, you'll be stuck in this crap. This watchwoman of the dragon, what's going on? Yeah, man, I'm just rambling, but I need to be working on this truck, but man, I just can't focus, man. I can't get what happened to me Friday off. You know how hard it was for me to hold back? You know how hard it was? But look, I was standing on truth, man. Me and that dude, look, it had nothing to do with that company. This guy's wanting me to do side work on company time. And I don't do that, number one. And number two, you can't pay me enough on my off time to do some side work. You see what I'm saying? I like my off time, man. My off time to me is worth $1 million an hour. I like getting, except for this damn chicken, I like getting outside. Ain't lying, this chicken drives me crazy. The last time I called him, I told him I was going to turn them into daggum dumplings. But there ain't enough meat on them yet. I had a daggum, hey Brenda, I had a daggum diamondback go across the driveway yesterday. That daggum corn pop was a sissy. That's how I found it. Corn pop's out there and jumped and did a, he jumped in the air and spun around to turn, because I guess it went kind of behind him. And I was like, what the heck? And I looked, and there's that daggum sidewinder. I mean, it was sidewinding across the driveway. I'm like, here I am standing flip-flops and shorts. I'm like, yeah, I finally decide it's hot enough, I need to cool down. And I do that, and boy, I run into a daggum diamondback going across. And it did. It had the prettiest diamonds I've ever seen. And I was like, damn. And all I could do, I threw a stick at it. That's all I had. The shovel, I didn't know what I did with it. And I kind of looked, but I didn't want to take my eye. I was like, screw it. So I ran back and put my boots on and everything. Then I never could find it. And now I'm worried about Ouija. I know there's timber rattlers and stuff, but I didn't know they were that big. This thing's like 30 inches long. Yeah. Get a. Yeah, I thought about it. I got a Velcro thing that I was going to catch him and put that Velcro around his leg, tied to, something. Really, I need to tie a rope around his neck. I'm serious. I'm sick of him. I mean, I seen him eat a copperhead, but he didn't want to mess with that diamondback. It could have been a timber rattler, but man, it looked like a diamondback. Well, it was probably a timber rattler, but it was sure moving like a diamondback because it's like its head was here. How can I put it? Its head was here and it went around like this, and then its body come on down and it was going across sideways like a sidewinder. And it had diamond patterns I mean, it was the most patched diamonds I'd ever seen on a snake. Had a big head on it. Man, I guess a diamondback will live anywhere. Man, I got a cage I'm half tempted just to throw them in. You know what I mean? 'Cause I'm tired of it. That sucker, he's the worst in the morning, man. That sucker. I've been trying to be nice. I've never had to whip Ouija for anything. And I don't know how old she is, 8 years old, 12. I don't know how old she is now. But I've never had to whip her, and I don't ever want to. I will never, because I can usually talk to that dog, right? Well, I've been trying to talk to this daggone chicken. I'll hold his head and look him right in the eyes and tell him, look, you got to straighten up. And you'd think he'd, understand, but one day I finally had enough of it. He was coming after me. Actually, they were fighting. And it happened. And look, I've been having to stand in the middle of them and stuff, right? I'm like, shoot. I happened to be too far away, but Ouija was doing good. The chicken would jump at Ouija. They were nose to nose. The chicken would jump at Ouija, and Ouija jump at the chicken. It was back and forth. I mean, I finally got it down to that, but I mean, I've seen it where it looked like a cartoon. It's just a ball of daggum feathers flying there and stuff. I just had to kind of like reach in. When I reached in, I was grabbing for the chicken and wound up with Ouija in my arms. It was crazy. It was like a cartoon. I ain't lying. I ain't never seen nothing like it. But yeah, that day I had enough, and I had this limb I found out in the woods, and it was about 12 foot long. It's about 6 foot long now, but man, I just started swinging that sucker. I whacked that daggum chicken, and he took off, and he turned around like he was going to do something. I whacked that sucker up in the head. That jogger took off. I had some firecrackers in my pocket. I started throwing firecrackers and wicking and hitting daggum low limbs in the woods and hitting daggum big trees and throwing more firecrackers. That's something going around me for a day. Well, actually, 2 days. And then I fed him, and that joker keeps thinking he's going to come back around me. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm tired of that damn rooster. I don't want to kill him. I don't want to hurt him. I've been trying to find a home for him, but I've had enough. Corn Pop is a bad dude. Did you hear him? He went, Corn Pop. Oh man, well I guess I need to end this live so I can go work on this stupid truck. Well, I can too, but my procedure turns them into chicken soup. You see what I'm saying? Dr. John boy and my rooster procedure. Yeah. I was just trying to catch up. All right, Brenda. Y'all have a good day too. I dread having to go to work and do what I'm fixing to have to do. But I can't allow that boy to sit there and threaten me to be shot by a gun. Just ain't happening, you know? I mean, I'm sure none of y'all out there would allow somebody to speak to you like that. I never threatened anyone. So, if y'all don't hear from me ever again, that guy off me or something. No, I don't know.